Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to describe you some antimicrobial agents. Any agents used for killing or inhibiting microorganisms are called antimicrobial agents. They can be used for chemotherapy, that is, they can be used as chemotherapeutic agents, and they may be antibacterial, antifungal, or antiviral agents. An ideal antimicrobial agent must be selected for getting good results. Features of an ideal antimicrobial agent. It must have a broad spectrum activity, that is, it must act against a wide range of pathogens. It must prevent the ready development of resistant microorganisms. Do not produce undesirable side effects. Should not eliminate the normal flora of our body. These are the main features of an ideal antimicrobial agent. First, we can see antibacterial agents. It was in 1929 Alexander Fleming discovered the first antibiotic, that is penicillin, from the mold Penicillium. We have already discussed in the previous videos about this discovery. Antibacterial agents are of different types. They can be classified into different groups based on their mode of action. Classification of antibacterial agents based on their mode of action. They are antibiotics inhibiting the cell wall synthesis of bacteria, antibacterials causing damage to bacterial cytoplasmic membrane, antibacterials inhibiting the nucleic acid and protein synthesis, and antibacterials inhibiting the specific enzymes. First, we can see antibiotics inhibiting the cell wall synthesis. Here we all know that the bacterial cell wall contains a component called peptidoglycan, and it is giving rigidity to the bacterial cell wall. It is formed of polymers which are formed by repeating N-acetylglucosamine and N-acetylmuramic acid residues. And these polymers are cross-linked by small peptides. And here the antibiotics, they are inhibiting the biosynthesis of peptidoglycan. Some examples of antibiotics inhibiting the cell wall synthesis are penicillin, cephalosporin, vancomycin, and bacitracin. So, peptidoglycan is an essential component of bacterial cell wall, and it is formed of polymers formed by N-acetylglucosamine and N-acetylmuramic acid residues, and these polymers, they are cross-linked by small peptides, and the formation of this peptidoglycan, it can be inhibited by these antibiotics. First, we can see penicillin. Penicillin, it is interfering with the peptidoglycan synthesis by inhibiting the transpeptidase reaction. That is, cross-linking is inhibited by penicillin. Cross-linking of these peptidoglycan polymers is inhibited by penicillin. And these penicillin are a group of beta-lactam antibiotics. We can see natural penicillin such as penicillin G, penicillin B. Semi-synthetic penicillins are also available. Ampicillin, methicillin are some examples. They are effective against gram-positive bacteria, spirochetes, and gram-negative diplococci. Second one is cephalosporins. They are interfering the peptidoglycan synthesis again by inhibiting the transpeptidase reaction, that is inhibiting cross-linking. Cephalosporins are a group of antibiotics. They are produced by marine fungus Cephalosporium acremonium, effective against gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. The specialty is that they have low toxicity and they are having bactericidal activity. That is, they can kill bacteria. Cycloserine, it is produced by Streptomyces. It can be used in tuberculosis therapy, but one important drawback is it has having potential undesirable side effects. It is inhibiting the peptidoglycan synthesis by interfering the synthesis of peptide moiety of the peptidoglycan. That is, it is inhibiting the enzymes alanine racemase and alanine synthetase involved in the synthesis of pentapeptide side chain. Next is bacitracin. Bacitracin is produced by Bacillus subtilis. It is toxic to animal and human cells, so it cannot be used for systemic chemotherapy. It is only used as topical agent, that is for surface application in case of gram-positive bacterial infections. It is also inhibiting the cell wall synthesis. Next is vancomycin. It is produced by Streptomyces orientalis. It is also inhibiting the peptidoglycan synthesis. That's all about antibacterials inhibiting cell wall synthesis. Second one is antibacterials causing damage to cytoplasmic membrane. These are all bactericidal agents. They are mainly altering the normal permeability of the cell membrane, resulting in the leakage of cytoplasmic contents. They are mainly active against gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. Some examples are polymyxin and gramicidins. Next is antibacterials inhibiting nucleic acid and protein synthesis. First one is streptomycin. Streptomycin, it is produced by Streptomyces griseus. It is mainly acting against gram-negative bacteria and also some mycobacterium. It can inhibit the protein synthesis by combining irreversibly with the 30S subunit ribosome. Tetracyclines are the second one. These include 5 members. They are chlortetracycline, oxytetracycline, tetracycline, doxycycline and minocycline. They are broad-spectrum antibiotics. They are also inhibiting protein synthesis, that is by interfering the binding of amino-acyl tRNA to 30S subunit ribosome. Next is chloramphenicol. Chloramphenicol, these are also broad-spectrum antibiotics active against gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. They are bacteriostatic, that is, they are not killing the bacteria, they are bacteriostatic. They have serious side effects, inhibit the protein synthesis by combining with the 50S subunit ribosome. Again, the protein synthesis is inhibited. Next is erythromycin. It is produced by Streptomyces erythraeus, acts against gram-positive, gram-negative bacteria, spirochetes, etc. They are belonging to the class macrolides. Inhibits the protein synthesis by combining with the 50S subunit ribosome. Next is antibacterials inhibiting specific enzymes. Antibacterials, the attack is directly against a specific essential enzyme. That is, an essential enzyme for the metabolic pathway of the bacteria is inhibited. One example is sulfonamides. Sulfonamides, they are having this mode of action, that is, they exhibit a competitive inhibition between the essential metabolite and the metabolic analog, thereby misleading the enzymes. Thus, the metabolic pathway of the organism is inhibited. Here in this diagram, we can see the normal metabolic pathway is this. Here, instead of this PABA, the sulfonamides, they come and bind to the substrate. Therefore, a complex will be formed and the next step, it is blocked. That is, there is no union between the two substrates, therefore there is no formation of tetrahydrofolic acid. Normal pathway is this, that is, here we can see the substrate combines with the enzyme and results in the formation of tetrahydrofolic acid, but these sulfonamides, they are inhibiting the pathway. That's all about antibacterial agents. Next we can see antifungal agents. There are many obstacles in the management of fungal therapy, that is, the fungal cell and the human cell, they both are eukaryotic cells, so they are having similar metabolic pathways. So the drugs inhibiting the metabolic pathway of the fungus, it will be toxic to human beings. So we must take, or we must be so careful in using or choosing the drug in fungal therapy, antifungal therapy. Okay, drug penetration, it is very poor and is another important drawback of antifungal therapy. Then parenteral application is recommended, that is the routes other than oral route. That is, topical agents can be used, or by injections we can give antifungal agents. Amphotericin is the first antifungal agent. It is the gold standard used in antifungal therapy. It is a broad spectrum antibiotic. It's a choline antibiotic and it is produced by Streptomyces. It is active against yeast and molds. The mode of action is, it is increasing the permeability of the cell membrane, resulting in the leakage of the contents from cytoplasm. This leads to blockage of fungal cell growth. Next is nystatin. It is again a choline antibiotic. It is again combining with the fungal cell membrane and interferes the fungal respiration and glucose utilization. It can act as a fungistatic or fungicidal agent. It is mainly acting against Candida. Azoles are synthetic antifungal agents. These are most frequently used. These are fungistatic agents. It inhibits the ergosterol biosynthesis, leading to the production of defective cell membrane of the fungal cell, and it leads to the death of the fungal cell. Examples are ketoconazole, miconazole. The shampoos we are using, anti-dandruff shampoos, contain the content, it is ketoconazole. So it is a synthetic antifungal which is used for the treatment of dandruff. Antiviral agents. These are used to inhibit the growth of viruses. Viral neuraminidase of orthomyxovirus can be selectively inhibited by sialic analogs or zanamivir. That is, these two antiviral drugs can be used for inhibiting the viral neuraminidase of orthomyxovirus. Thereby, we can inhibit the orthomyxovirus infection. Then, inhibitors of viral uncoating such as amantadine can be used against viruses, mainly influenza A type A. It interferes with the function of viral membrane matrix protein M2. So, amantadine can be used against virus, mainly influenza type A. Ribavirin is another antiviral drug and it is effective in chronic hepatitis C infections. The mode of action is that ribavirin, it can inhibit the GTP formation, it blocks RNA polymerase. Interferons, you have already heard about interferons. These are small glycoproteins. These interferons, they are inhibiting the viral RNA translation, ultimately leading to the degradation of viral mRNA and tRNA. Interferons, they are interfering the viral protein synthesis. Acyclovir, it is another antiviral drug. It can be used for the treatment of genital herpes cytomegalovirus infections. Here we can see competitive inhibition of viral DNA polymerase enzyme. This leads to premature DNA chain termination. Then another one is acycloguanosine. It is a nucleoside analog. It is inhibiting the nucleotide utilization. Thereby it inhibits the nucleic acid synthesis. That's all about antiviral drugs. Hope you will understand the session. Thank you. Have a nice day.